I think it's fair to say that James McAvoy has quietly established himself as one of our best actors working today. And it took me a while to realize that. Though he made a solid Professor Xavier, especially in First Class and Days of Future Past, we won't talk about the others, it wasn't until he essentially played a dozen characters in Split that I realized this. For the most part, Split hinged on McAvoy's performance, which was strong enough to compensate for the fact that the writing and direction wasn't anything of remark. The best you could say about it was the backhanded thought of, this is nowhere near as bad as M. Night's previous scripts. If Split was a testament to James McAvoy's skill as an actor, Speak No Evil is an exercise in how far his talent can be stretched. A remake of a 2022 Danish horror film, Speak No Evil follows an American couple, played by Scoot McNairy and Mackenzie Davis, who are invited to the country home of Patty, played by James McAvoy, and Sierra, played by Aisling Franciosi. Though the holiday starts off fine enough, let's just say it doesn't end up being what either of them expected. If I haven't made it absolutely clear by now, James McAvoy delivers an absolutely compelling, masterful performance. A detailed human portrait of the more toxic aspects of masculinity, McAvoy proves himself more than adept at carrying a performance-centered movie once again. If his work in Split was a theatrical performance with a layer of subtlety, his work in Speak No Evil is a subtle performance with flashes of theatricality. The cinematography by Tim Maurice-Jones is a work of understated excellence. Though we traditionally associate great cinematography with picturesque frames which could be used as a desktop wallpaper, something like Barry Lyndon or No Country for Old Men, Maurice-Jones' power as a cinematographer is his intuition about when to pull the camera back to emphasize the overall situation of a scene and the character's interpersonal dynamics, and when to draw the camera in to emphasize a subtle, terrifying change in expression from James McAvoy. If McAvoy is the French horn in this movie's arsenal of instruments, Scoot McNairy is the film's clarinet, a quietly powerful and more meek presence to contrast Patty's alpha male Zero F's given attitude. Though the characters are compelling to watch on their own, it's the complex web of interpersonal dynamics they form with one another which makes them even more gripping. Through subtext and everyday interaction, we can't help but understand why the more resigned, gentle Scoot McNairy is drawn to the more dominant, decisive character of James McAvoy's Patty. But the movie's secret weapon is Mackenzie Davis. I remember watching Blade Runner 2049 and thinking, damn, this woman's going places in Hollywood. It seems she spent the better half of a decade going places out of Hollywood, but this performance reminded me why I fell in love with her in the first place. As the situation at the country home becomes increasingly more unsettling and off-putting, Mackenzie Davis puts a face to the anxiety and uncertainty felt by the characters and even the audience. The film also features two performances from child actors who do a pretty good job as far as inexperienced child actors go, while Aisling Franciosi delivers the most forgettable, uninspired performance in the movie, delivering the lines while seemingly doing nothing to elevate the role. If there's a consistent issue I have with modern horror movies, it's not jump scares, it's that they usually take an awfully inexcusably long time to actually start scaring us. You wouldn't accept a comedy movie which doesn't get a laugh out of you until 30 minutes in, yet we somehow accept it from horror. Now don't get me wrong, I expect and even invite a sense of atmosphere building and suspense in horror movies, but even in a movie like The Shining, where Jack Torrance doesn't pick up the axe until the final half an hour, we're still treated, or more accurately spooked, with ambiguous scary imagery, such as the Shining twins and the mysterious Red Room. In terms of withholding the scares, Speak No Evil is arguably one of the worst offenders, yet it works better here than in other horror films. Not only because the dark comedy which defines the first half is just as unsettling as it is funny, but because the off-putting nature of the English couple in itself is enough to set the stage for the volcano which erupts later into the runtime. As the film becomes gradually more intense and unhinged, director James Watkins does an effective job creating an atmosphere of terror, defined by those little moments where you're left biting your nails, whispering yourself, don't go in that room, don't go in the room, oh, he went in the room. As far as explorations of toxic masculinity ideals go, this isn't as thorough and as revelatory as Moonlight or The Iron Claw, but the movie has some pretty poignant things to say about the subject, and does so by finding the humanity in the toxicity it interrogates. The movie suggests that masculine dominance often masks a deep-rooted insecurity, and that abuse is a cycle which perpetuates even more aggression, culminating in a devastating, disturbing shot later on in the film. Speak No Evil is certainly a flawed film. As a horror film, it takes a little too long to get going. And if you'd walk me into this movie blind without telling me what the genre is, I don't think I'll be able to guess within the first 50 minutes. First acts in any story are all about making promises to your audience of what your movie is gonna be, and then delivering on those promises in later acts. Speak No Evil is reluctant to make any promises, and it's a worse off movie for it. As the movie gradually begins to reveal itself, it proves to be a compelling, intense psychological horror with an effective exploration of cyclical abuse and aggression, buoyed by a masterful performance by James McAvoy and a wonderful cast. And I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed the review, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for weekly movie and TV reviews. And if you've had the chance to watch Speak No Evil, let us know what you thought about it in the comments below. I'm Cinemike, and I'll see you next time.